When you need to talk to a private eye.
You want to be talking to Jim Rockford.
That's right. He's the one to talk to.
They don't know who you're talking to.
Rockford.
He's got everyone talking.
What kind of lowlife is he?
Takes out half-page ads in a phone book.
I seem to recall a phrase, moderately intelligent private detective.
You have a smart mouth. You're right, I do. But I'm working on changing that.
Jim Rockford is all the talk on MeTV.
He's something else, all right.
Weekdays at 11:10 Central on MeTV.
Hello and welcome to Connect with Me here on MeTV. We're on the showroom floor at Ventura TV and Appliance. I'm Randy Reed. We'll be talking today about senior care facilities in Fresno, what options you have available to yourself or loved ones to care for yourselves as we age in our population. We'll see you in just a moment. Hi, I'm Randy Reed. I'm filling in for John Mallows here on today's edition of Connect with Me. John is a little bit under the weather. He'll be back with us in just a day or two. Thanks for being with us on today's program. You know, it's no secret that the population of the United States continues to age. As a matter of fact, the percentage of people in our country who are aged 65 years or older continues to rise at the rate of about 3% a year. And at that rate, it's likely that by the year 2030, there will be over 71 million Americans who are aged 65 or older. So we're living longer these days, which is certainly a good thing, but as we age, especially into our 80s, 90s, and even more frequently now into our hundreds, many of us are going to find ourselves in need of some level of care or assistance with daily activities. So take a look at this video. There are a number of resources and settings available to care for seniors who need assistance, and that is the topic of our show today as we focus on business. I'll be talking with a local business owner who is providing elderly care in a small residential setting. It's an alternative to nursing homes or large assisted living centers, and we'll talk about what factors might make this setting a good option for seniors and families. We all want the best care for ourselves and our loved ones, so deciding on the right caregiving options is an extremely important responsibility. Live in our studio today is Ed Dunkel. He owns and operates Grace Gardens Senior Care Community in Sanger. So I'll be talking to Ed today about the similarities and differences between various senior care settings in our community and what you need to decide to make the right decision for you or someone in your family, whether you're considering your own future needs or those of a parent or a loved one. So we'll be back in a moment here live from the showroom floor with Connect with Me. I'll be talking with Ed Dunkel and taking your phone calls. We'll be right back.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Welcome back to Connect with Me. I'm Randy Reed filling in for John Mallows. He'll be back with us in another day or two. He's feeling just a little bit under the weather. So we're talking today about senior care and elderly care in our community and across the United States. As I mentioned, there are so many different options available to folks who may need some assistance with daily living as we get older in our lives. And so our guest today is Ed Dunkel. He owns Grace Gardens in Sanger, and we're going to talk more about what those options are and why it's important to think about the need before it arises, I would say.
Absolutely.
I imagine you agree with that. So tell us, Ed, what distinguishes a residential care facility like Grace Gardens, I should say a community like Grace Gardens, from, assisted living centers and traditional nursing homes and the like?
Grace Gardens is what the state has designated an RCFE, a residential care facility for the elderly. It's a home setting around a home just like people lived in before they came here. And we have 2 of these homes. They're side by side. There's 6 residents in each home, so I have a total of 12.
All right.
And each home is just like it's theirs. They're free to use the gardens. The families can use the gardens, do barbecues, and even family gatherings. And they were designed to be a home.
Okay. And we're going to take a look in just a moment at the interior and the exterior of the community that you offer. But before we do that, I want to ask you about how you got into this area of work. And there's a personal story behind it. I'd like you to share a little bit with that.
Certainly, be happy to do that. All my career from college to this point, I was in the civil engineering business.
Okay.
And there was becoming a growing concern from my parents. My dad was suffering from Alzheimer's, and my mom had been injured, and so she was semi-invalid, and they were depending on each other to take care of themselves, and we were losing some ground. So I had some caregivers taking care of them, and it became more and more demanding on me. My dad was a farmer, was farming 220 acres. So I was being drawn back to the farm and taking care of mom and dad. So the houses were being taken down by Caltrans on 180 East. So there was a necessity for me to come up with new homes for them.
Okay.
So
this is the family home that was
this is the family home. That's correct.
Eliminated. Okay.
So in the process, I said, I'm already in the business with 2 people. I might as well just take another step.
Okay.
So in 2003, I completed the first home called Grace Gardens, and it's licensed as Grace Gardens Senior Care Community. And then in 2008, I built the second one, which is Grace Meadows Senior Care Community.
Okay. We're going to take a look at some video here. Don't forget, you can give us a call here live on the air and chat with Ed. Our phone number is 265-4331, 265-4331. But let's roll that video and take a look at the facility and the community that you've built, Ed. So walk us through. What are we looking at here?
You're looking at the kitchen area on the Grace Garden facility, the first one constructed, and this is the living room in the same home. And this is where the family gatherings and the residents hang out, and in the family atmosphere. One of the bedrooms, one of the 6 bedrooms, are all private bedrooms.
All right.
In Grace Gardens, and this is a typical bedroom, and another bedroom in that home.
They look fairly spacious.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to make it like a home, like a home bedroom.
Yeah.
And so these are pictures of the typical bedrooms that you'll see there.
And do guests bring their own furnishings? Are furnishings provided? How does that work?
Either way.
Okay.
If many elders are more comfortable with their own furniture.
I would think so.
So I give them that option. I can provide it, or they can bring their own.
Very good. And you mentioned earlier there are 6 residents per home.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. And that's different from the larger facilities that we are more commonly familiar with, where there might be dozens certainly, and possibly even hundreds of residents living in a community.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we're 6 to each house, and that's except for joined activities, they're pretty much in their own home.
Okay.
A visitation area in the first home. This is Grace Gardens room for families to have gatherings with their loved ones.
All right.
And here we're looking, again at Grace Gardens, and back through the living area and out the windows to the doors to the garden area.
All right, and we'll be seeing the garden footage a little bit later, so we'll be sure to see this.
And a bathroom typical bathroom.
Okay. Now, are these purpose-built homes, Ed, or were these converted residences?
No, I built them specifically for RCFE, or residential care facility.
All right. So we're back live on the air. We're taking your phone calls at 265-4331. My guest is Ed Dunkel. He owns and operates Grace Garden Senior Care Community that's located in Sanger. And we're talking about the differences between residential settings for elderly care and other more traditional settings that we're all familiar with, nursing homes and assisted living centers, etc. So there certainly, I imagine, are advantages to having a smaller community, but there would be some advantages to having a larger larger community as well, I suppose. Some folks like that larger environment. Other folks are going to like the smaller. So talk about kind of the ideal resident or candidate for a facility like yours, a community like yours.
In large facilities, many times some of the residents feel a little lost in that large community.
Okay.
For people that are very social, that's kind of the cruise ship atmosphere. But in ours, it's a personal care. It's like they came out of their home and going into a home. It's more connection. My caregivers are very family oriented. They become parts of the family.
Perfect. Hold that thought. I think we have a call. Hold on just a moment. Hi, you're on Connect with Me. Go ahead.
Hi, I know he's talking about the homes, but hearing him talk about his father, how does one come to terms to talk to their parents about getting them into a home like that? Because my parents are old. They're pretty set in their ways. I spend a lot of my time taking care of them when I would like to get them into something like this, but just broaching the subject is difficult.
Terrific. Excellent question. Thank you, caller. Appreciate that. So Ed, having that initial call or a discussion with a family member when you feel they may need some assistance, how do you go about that?
That's a difficult call, and I empathize with this gentleman. I went through it with my parents. And it just takes family involvement. If this is a place that you think that you might be interested in, I would recommend that you come out and look at it. Bring the loved one out, have lunch with us. In the summertime in the garden area, oftentimes we have breakfast out in the patio, okay, and let them see the setting and get them used to it. But you can't wait. If you wait till the last minute, then indeed you're going to have a lot of resistance.
Agreed, and it's going to create a lot more stress for everyone. Well, we're talking to Ed Dunkel regarding senior care options. He owns and operates Grace Gardens. We'll be back with more of our conversation and your phone calls here on Connect with Me. We'll be right back.
Weeknights on MeTV. Who loves you, baby?
You shouldn't ask.
It's Kojak.
Well, it sounds like music to my ear.
On MeTV.
Look at me.
Why do we love him?
Maybe it's the way I comb my hair.
Or maybe it's his trusty right-hand man.
More bite? Crocker! Crocker! Crocker!
Kojak!
Well, I just wanted to hear how it sounded.
Telly Savalas' Kojak.
Story of my life, baby.
Weeknights at 12:30, 11:30 Central on MeTV.
Who loves you?
Welcome back to Connect with Me here on MeTV. We're live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Our phone number here, if you'd like to call in and be a part of the conversation, is 265-4331. My guest is Ed Dunkel. We're talking about senior care options, and we had a phone call from a viewer who was asking about how do you have that conversation. You mentioned it's important to be thinking about this ahead of the need, because I imagine that it can be a very, very stressful decision when the urgency arises. So you said folks can come out and visit with you, tour your facility. I imagine you would encourage them to look at other facilities as well, get a good sense of all of the options that are available. Is that correct?
I am more than happy to help people who are looking, even if it's looking for another facility. If I don't suit, my administrator Alicia Keene is well connected in the senior care community.
Excellent.
And we'd be more than happy to assist people in starting that shopping process.
And we're assisting them here today. We have another call. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on the air with Ed Dunkel. Go ahead.
Hi, I was watching this morning's show, and I'm impressed to see that the environment that Ed has created looks very senior friendly. I've got a special needs uncle who is in Willow Creek facility right now. He does need some assistance. He's been there for some months now. He's looking for a change. He's not ready to go home yet. How would your facility, Ed, be as a transitional stepping stone to eventually getting my uncle back home and back on his own?
Great question. Thanks very much. We're going to let Ed take a stab at that.
And that's a common situation. I do offer what they call respite care, and that's interim care if I have a room available.
Okay.
We stay full most of the time. Right now I do have one room available, just became available in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
So that's something we'd be willing to talk about, and if this gentleman would like to come out and we can discuss it, or if this doesn't suit him, we'll help him, see if we can help him find something that suits his needs.
Share your phone number with our audience, and is there a website that folks can refer to?
Yes. My personal phone number is area code 559, of course, and the number's 269-0332, and that's my cell. And the website for Grace Gardens is called grace-senior-care.com.
Okay.
And that'll give you some more views of the activities and what goes on in the home and what they look like.
Excellent.
And contact information.
Okay, terrific. And we're going to look at some video in just a moment of one of your other home, but we have another caller on the line, so let's take that call right now. Hi, caller, you're live on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. My question is this. I live on a fixed income, which is less than $1,000 a month, and I'd like to know if I could, I like to I have my own home right now, but, it's a mobile home park, but anyway, I'd like to get out of it.
Okay. Thank you for your call. We'll talk about costs here. So let's talk about that, Ed, the cost for care at all levels for seniors, and then, particularly about residential care communities.
There's no question it is expensive. Okay. It is very expensive. Medi-Cal provides opportunities, and there are attorneys and other entities that can help you get prepared to use a Medi-Cal facility, and I'd be happy to help this person if they want to give me a call, and I'll connect them with Alicia. And there are placement companies and individuals that help people with just this situation, where they can match them up with their income needs.
Okay.
And
very good.
And I'd be happy, to help this person out who wants to give me a call.
And we mentioned that there are 2 homes at the Grace Gardens community. So we looked at some video from the first home a moment ago. We're going to take a look at the video of the second home. So Ed, let's watch here on the screen and walk us through again what we're seeing here in this home.
This is over the door of my administrator, Alicia Keene's office. And then we're looking at, this is in the kitchen area for those individuals who like to sit up at the counter atmosphere, or they sit around and chat and snack for snacks and so forth.
And who prepares the meals?
We do. My caregivers.
Okay.
We prepare all these meals.
It's a full service.
Home, take
then.
care of their clothes, wash their clothes, iron their clothes, take foo-foo the hair, and all those sorts of things.
Very good.
And again, the bedrooms are. This is a typical bedroom. The only difference is, in these bedrooms, instead of having a closet, there are wardrobes that are built in that closet area, so they do not have to have a chest taking up space in that room. So it makes them more accessible for handicapped.
You mentioned before we went on the air that when you built the second home, you brought the caregivers in, and they were integrally involved in designing the home. Is that correct?
Very much so. When I decided to build a second home, I pulled the plans out from the first one and laid it on the kitchen table and incorporated the caregivers, gave them a red pencil, say, what do we change that's better suited? And what a good move that was.
And what kind of changes did that result in, Ed?
A number of things. We discussed the visitation area in that first home, that little kind of little close room for a family.
Okay.
It was used very little. The community is small enough that many of the family become friends with one another, and so that just ate up space. We don't use it, so in the second home they said, let's do away with that second visiting area and make it all open.
Okay.
And that worked very well.
It is a very spacious, open floor plan.
Yes, it is.
And I imagine you're going to have some residents, whether you do now or at some point in the future, in wheelchairs, for instance, who may need some assistance getting around, and so having that open floor plan has to be very, very important for them.
It's very helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
And the bathrooms are all handicap accessible. There are no steps anywhere throughout the facility, inside or outside.
Good to know. All right. Well, we are live on the air with Ed Dunkel from Grace Gardens. We're taking your phone calls at 265-4331. We'll be right back with more of our conversation in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brand's reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
We're live here on Connect With Me. We're on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. We're taking your phone calls at 265-4331, and my guest is Ed Dunkel. He owns and operates Grace Gardens Senior Care Community in Sanger, and we've been looking at some just beautiful images of the homes there that Ed offers. And Ed, we're talking about continuum of care. One of our callers asked earlier about respite care, but when someone comes to your community, as we talked about, as we age, our needs change over time. We may need more care, more medical care, more services. Talk about the continuum of care that Grace Gardens offers to your residents.
Certainly. We have professional nursing visitation that comes in regularly and checks with our residents.
Okay.
It's and then also I provide. I have a doctor that does not work for me. He comes into the facility, and if the residents so choose, they can avail themselves of this doctor.
Okay.
Or they can go. They continue on with
use
their
own
doctor.
physician if they care to. Okay. We'll get back to that in a moment. I want to get another phone call in. Hi, welcome to the program. Go ahead with your question.
Hi, yes. I wanted to ask, my husband is 43 years old, and he has seizures and strokes. And if he ever needs to have go into a senior care home, would he be accepted there, or would he be not accepted because of his age? Because he has Medicare and Medi-Cal.
Okay, thank you for your call. So a younger adult with some care needs, is there an age requirement to utilize a senior care facility?
An RCFE is licensed for those individuals 65 and older.
Okay.
But they make provisions for a small percentage of those who have similar needs, providing I can meet their needs, and that's determined on a pretty extensive evaluation that I do.
So for specific cases like this, folks should give you a call.
That's correct.
And give us that phone number again.
It's area code 559-269-0332.
All right. Well, earlier in the program, we took a look at some video from the interior of the Grace Gardens homes, and now we're going to take a look at the gardens of the community. So let's roll this video, and Ed, join me as we take a tour of the outside of Grace Gardens community. What are we looking at here? Beautifully landscaped area.
And we're looking at some of the early stages of the landscaping. Trees aren't quite so developed yet. As you can see, they're pretty young trees.
Looks like a park.
It is, and the trees today are canopies. It looks very much so like a park.
All right.
It's a stark difference between what you see now.
So both homes are just right next to each other, and they share this gardens area. Is that correct?
That's correct. Each one has its own unique, own specific garden area, but they are connected.
Okay.
And
benches for visiting?
For when residents are doing walks, well, they need a rest area to sit and rest. They can avail themselves of the benches that we have there.
Okay.
And as you can see here, as the yard is beginning to develop, this is more and more what it looks like today. Right. We're getting out of the stick syndrome for the trees. They're starting to look like real trees.
Okay.
Rose bushes are growing, and this is more and more like what it looks today.
Now, do the residents who are able to do so have an opportunity, for instance, if they enjoy gardening? Is there something that what about activities for your residents? How do they stay busy, stay active, stay alert?
Well, without question, I have raised flower beds and we plant a vegetable garden, and if they like to garden, they can garden to their heart's content, and these raised garden beds, so they can sit. They don't have to get down on their knees, and so they're user friendly, so to speak, for elders.
All right. Just looks like just a beautiful, relaxing setting for anyone. I mean, I know this is for seniors and elderly, but just a gorgeous location for visitors to come, family to spend time.
Absolutely.
Looks excellent.
They're open, and I encourage the families to come often. They come for lunches and dinners, and we like to see that.
For sure. All right, very good. Now, so we were talking about gardening as one activity, but let's also discuss some of the other activities that residents can avail themselves of. Do you schedule activities out in the community? Is there transportation provided for folks who might want to go shopping and do other things that they would normally do, to enjoy themselves?
Yes, I have singers that come in throughout the month, and they're great at the old tunes and the old Susannas and the old church hymns and those things that the seniors were raised with.
Okay.
And we have, like Christmas time, we have lots of parties, and we take people out. My administrator, those people are interested in going to some of the outside activities, we'll take them there.
Okay.
And it's pretty custom. I mean, if there's somewhere and if they like to go shopping, if they want to go with my administrator when she goes on her shopping trips, well, she often invites them to go along if they want to go.
Excellent. We have another call. Let's take this question. Hi, caller. You're on the air with Ed Dunkel. Go right ahead.
Looks great. The place looks like a park. I can't wait to move in.
We hope so. I hope so.
The graying, you were talking about the median age is rising as the years tick by, and the graying of America, it's a factor that I'm sure is figuring into Ed's plan, and I'm sure he has plans for expansion as people who reach the age of retirement and are looking for an alternative to the great expense of maintaining their own home, et cetera, et cetera. My question is Alzheimer's. It's the gorilla, the elephant in the room that nobody can ignore.
Right.
We're going to be seeing more and more of this. Heck, I feel like I'm halfway there now, but my question is, Alzheimer requires a special skill set. Ed and his staff, is this something that you're finding takes up more of your time? Is this becoming a focus of your business plan? Are you Alzheimer ready if you've got serious onset of Alzheimer's?
Special needs care. Thank you, caller. Appreciate that question. So how about special needs?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's comes with a myriad of different personalities and behaviors.
Right.
For me to fit an Alzheimer's patient into my close community of 6, I do a very extensive evaluation, and I do have Alzheimer's patients there.
You do? Okay.
I do.
So you are capable of providing that care?
Providing I can meet their care needs.
All right.
Now, there are some things that Alzheimer's patients do and acting out behaviors
requirements
that
they have.
I can't incorporate it in my community, but many I can.
On that note, talk a little bit about your staffing levels and staffing qualifications, just so we know what level of care is provided in a residential setting.
My staffing levels generally in each house is from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Most of the time I have two caregivers on.
For 6 residents?
For 6 residents, and two in each home.
Okay.
And then at nighttime, sleep time, then I have one on, and I have an on-call individual, and I live next to the property, so there are times in the middle of the night they need some help, I'll help them.
Of course, okay.
And, whatever they need.
Okay. Give us that phone number again and website.
It's area code 559-269-0332, and the website is grace-senior-care.com.
All right, and real quickly, any plans for expansion in the future? Our caller asked the question, what are you looking at?
I have considered it. I've considered it.
You'll evaluate it as you go forward?
My ears to the ground.
Yeah, well, it looks like just a tremendously well-designed facility. Thanks for coming in today and talking about these issues with us, Ed. Obviously, our callers are very interested in it, our viewers are as well, and you provided some great resource for us. So again, appreciate your time.
Well, Randy, it was an honor, and I thank you for inviting me.
Thank you as well for being with us on this edition of Connect with Me, and we will see you tomorrow with another guest and more of your calls. Thanks again. Have a good day.